The WNBA has reached a breaking point, and the atmosphere surrounding tonight's matchup is more intense than ever. Anyone who thought the conflict between longtime veterans and the league's rising stars had cooled off was mistaken. What's coming is shaping up to be one of the most emotional and highly charged rematches in recent basketball history. The Indiana Fever are set to face the Golden State Valkyries, but this game has grown far beyond a typical regular season contest. Strategy and game plans are no longer the main story. This battle is now driven by pride, toughness, and the fight to prove a point on the court. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, who has spent the season dealing with constant pressure, physical play, defensive tactics aimed specifically at slowing her down, and ongoing trash talk from opponents who continue to struggle with the changing landscape of the league. We are talking about a player who is changing the future of women's basketball and having a massive impact on the league's growth and popularity. Caitlin Clark has become one of the biggest forces in the sport, yet instead of receiving support and protection, she continues to face constant criticism and targeting. Recently, however, the controversy reached another level. Reports and discussions around veteran player Tiffany Hayes have sparked major attention after allegations surfaced that she encouraged an environment where fans could verbally and emotionally attack Clark. What has shocked many people even more is the response from the league, or the lack of one. Despite growing conversations and concerns, there has been no significant public action or statement, leaving many observers questioning what is really happening behind the scenes. The silence from league officials has become a major part of the story, leading fans and analysts to wonder whether important issues are being ignored.
It's been a long week. Heated rematch after Tiffany Hayes is okaying fans to attack Caitlin Clark. The league did nothing. The Golden State Valkyries did nothing. Everybody wants to sweep it under the rug, but knowing if it was the other way around, it'd be a big issue. But it is what it is. We're here. Let's take a look at what Natalie Nakase had to say, man.
Hearing allegations like that has left many fans frustrated and questioning whether the same standards are being applied to everyone. Critics argue that if a well-known rookie had been connected to similar behavior directed at a respected veteran, the reaction would likely have been immediate and intense, with major media coverage, possible disciplinary action, and public statements following quickly. Instead, many believe the response has been far more muted because Caitlin Clark is the one at the center of the controversy. While league officials may choose not to address the situation publicly, Golden State Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase cannot afford to ignore what is ahead. She understands the pressure, attention, and emotion surrounding this matchup and now faces the difficult challenge of preparing her team for a game that carries far more significance than a typical regular season contest. Golden State Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase is facing one of the toughest challenges in the WNBA, finding a way to slow down the Indiana Fever offense. In recent media appearances, she openly discussed how difficult it is to prepare for a player like Caitlin Clark, whose deep shooting range, quick decision-making, and exceptional court vision create problems for any defense. According to Nakase, defending Clark goes far beyond guarding a typical point guard near the three-point line. Her ability to impact the game from anywhere on the court forces opponents to adjust every part of their defensive strategy. As the highly anticipated matchup approaches,
about Caitlin Clark, here it is.
A lot of times against Caitlin, the first game you guys picked up 94 feet. I'm just curious, what kind of things do you try to do when you pick up 94 feet to give different?
Well, because she does a heavy load to pretty much of the offense. So again, you just want to put a lot of different bodies on her, because she can shoot from like half court. Like you just got to make sure we're aware. So just more awareness for us.
We talked about that.
I appreciate you showing respect because you know the girl could pull up from half court. You know that.
Natalie Nakase emphasized just how difficult it is to defend Caitlin Clark, noting that her shooting range extends far beyond what teams normally prepare for. The challenge is not limited to guarding her near the three-point line, but from virtually the moment she crosses half court. That kind of offensive threat forces defenders to stay alert at all times and puts tremendous pressure on an entire defensive system. The Valkyries are expected to use multiple defenders, aggressive traps, and a variety of defensive tactics in an effort to slow her down. Players like Veronica Burton, known for her defensive intensity, have focused heavily on scouting reports, game planning, and film study to identify Clark's tendencies. However, Stopping a player with her combination of deep shooting ability, quick release, and confidence remains an enormous challenge. Defenses can try different approaches and force her into difficult situations, but her ability to create shots from almost anywhere on the floor makes her one of the toughest players in the league to contain.
I'm just following our game plan.
You got to see Mo in Indiana.
Veronica, it don't matter. It don't matter where you guard Caitlin today. She gonna light your ass up. It don't matter which way you send her. You send her left. You send her right. You send her up. You send her down. She gonna be dropping buckets nonstop.
The challenge facing the Valkyries is simple but difficult. Finding a way to slow down an offense that keeps producing points. Many opponents have tried different defensive strategies against Caitlin Clark, but her ability to score and create opportunities continues to make a major impact. In their previous meeting, the game became extremely physical, with intense defense and constant pressure on the Indiana Fever. The Valkyries played with a high level of aggression, trying to disrupt the Fever's rhythm and make every possession difficult. Physical play, tight coverage, and relentless defensive effort became key parts of their approach as they searched for a way to stay competitive against one of the league's most dangerous offensive teams in the previous matchup. The level of physical play became one of the biggest storylines of the game. Defenders applied constant pressure, challenged nearly every possession, and pushed the limits of what officials would allow. For a time, that aggressive approach helped disrupt the flow of the game and shifted momentum. However, playing with that much intensity also came with consequences. Fouls began to accumulate, emotions started to rise, and tensions between players became increasingly visible. As this highly anticipated rematch approaches.
Well, look, y'all did a lot of fouling last game. All y'all did was hack. That was all y'all was doing. Indiana Fever too. Indiana Fever fouled way too much. The Golden State Valkyries last game versus the Fever fouled way too much. So we'll see. I think it's going to be tight. I think the whistles are going to be tight because of this Tiffany Hayes situation with Caitlin Clark. I think the referees are going to be trying to control this game and not let it get out of control with physicality. So I think it's going to be a lot.
The aggressive approach that played a major role in the previous matchup may be much harder to rely on this time around. With so much attention surrounding this game, the officiating crew is expected to be under intense scrutiny from fans, media members, and league officials alike. There is significant focus on maintaining control of the game and preventing emotions from turning into unnecessary physical confrontations. As a result, many expect the referees to call the game more closely from the opening tip, establishing clear limits early and making it known that excessive contact or overly aggressive play will not be tolerated. The goal will be to keep the competition intense but under control throughout the night. Natalie Nakase understands that her team must adapt if they want a better result in this rematch. Allowing too many fouls and sending the Indiana Fever to the free throw line repeatedly is not a winning formula, especially against a team that can take advantage of those opportunities. She has acknowledged the importance of playing disciplined defense and even joked about how much emphasis her team places on avoiding unnecessary fouls during practice. For a group that often depends on physical pressure and relentless defensive energy, finding the right balance between aggression and
every game requires a different temperament too with the rest of how tight they're calling it because they're human. They're human. So with that human being aspect, it's like everyone sees it different. So we stress today, like high hands. We're not going to put them in bonus. That is definitely one of our keys tomorrow. Like we want them to earn their shots to shoot over us rather than they get 29 free shots at the line. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, we helped the situation. So tomorrow we're just going to be really smart. We're going to be really disciplined. You're going to see us. I told him to go to sleep like this. I sleep.
Defending Caitlin Clark requires almost perfect discipline because even the smallest mistake can quickly turn into points for the Indiana Fever. If defenders reach in, lose positioning, or make unnecessary contact, Clark has the skill and awareness to take advantage of the situation, whether by creating a scoring opportunity or drawing a foul. That leaves opponents with a difficult decision: play solid, fundamentally sound defense and trust their system, or increase the physical pressure and risk foul trouble. This balancing act is one of the most fascinating parts of the matchup. Beyond the tactical battle, there is also a strong emotional element surrounding the game. Questions about respect, competition, and reputation continue to fuel the storylines. Some veterans have attempted to challenge and test Clark's confidence, but many believe those efforts have only motivated her further. Instead of slowing her down, the extra attention and pressure have often brought out some of her most determined performances, setting the stage for another highly anticipated showdown. When players have tried to challenge or provoke Caitlin Clark in the past, the results have often worked in her favor rather than against her. Instead of responding with words, she typically lets her performance on the court do the talking. Her ability to take over games with deep shooting, playmaking, and confidence has made her one of the most exciting players in basketball. Even in hostile environments filled with opposing fans, Clark has shown a knack for delivering big moments that can completely change the mood of an arena. Time and again, she has demonstrated the ability to thrive under pressure, turning difficult road games into opportunities to showcase her talent. As this highly anticipated matchup approaches, many expect her to once again embrace the spotlight and attempt to deliver another standout performance on one of the biggest stages.
Caitlin Clark has the ability to turn a team's home game into a road game at the snap of a finger. This is going to be a big-time battle. We'll see what Tiffany Hayes is on. We'll see if she's still barking. Last time you barked up that tree, it fell on you, and I don't think you liked it. I don't think you liked it because you was on social media begging for help and begging for people to do stuff. Yeah. You might want to be quiet this game, Tiffany Hayes. Get down in the comments.
This is far more than a regular game on the schedule. The stakes are huge, the emotions are intense, and the spotlight has never been brighter. The Indiana Fever are not simply chasing another win. They're looking to make a statement to the Golden State Valkyries and the rest of the WNBA. After all the physical play, controversy, and tension surrounding their previous meetings, this matchup has become a test of resilience, focus, and determination. The message is simple: no amount of pressure, criticism, or aggressive defense can stop a team determined to prove itself on the biggest stage. Now the basketball world is waiting to see how it unfolds. Will the Valkyries find a way to slow the Fever down, or will Caitlin Clark deliver another unforgettable performance and remind everyone why she remains one of the most talked about players in the game? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and share your prediction in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.